She makes the right read. She makes the right play. She has really good instincts, and she's easy to play off of. She can shoot the three. She can get. She has long arms, so she can get to the paint. And she can create that way. She's just a really good basketball player.
Paige Bueckers scored 29 points on Friday night and lost. She went shot for shot with Caitlin Clark for 3 quarters in front of a sold-out Indianapolis crowd. And when it was over, she walked to the podium and said Clark is easy to play off of, that she makes the right read and the right play, that she has great instincts, that she is just a really good basketball player, the player who just lost to Clark, calling Clark easy to be around. Then Robert Griffin III released his WNBA MVP ballot the same night with Clark at number 1, above A'ja Wilson, above Olivia Miles, above Bueckers herself. Every voice that has spent this season either challenging Clark, competing against her, or failing to give her proper credit landed in the same place on Friday. And the haters who have been insisting the MVP belongs somewhere else are running out of arguments.
See? 29 and 10?
Yeah.
Hell of a job. Unifying everybody. Time.
Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications right now, because what happened around Friday's game is bigger than the result. And it is coming from directions nobody predicted. Clark went 2 for 10 from 3 in the first half. Indiana shot 39%. They fell behind. And then she made a decision that defined the entire game.
This is what Kelsey Mitchell had to say about Caitlin Clark on the way back.
I think that we kept playing, and that was tough. I didn't have my greatest night, so I kept playing. I think we kept playing, and we followed our PG, so shout out to see for putting us in the right position.
Mitchell has been Indiana's leading scorer for stretches of this season. She had 23 points per game entering August. On Friday, she admitted she did not have her greatest night and kept playing because Clark kept them in position to win. Clark stopped shooting threes in the second half and attacked the paint instead. 16 points in a single third quarter. Indiana opened the fourth on a 15-2 run. Clark's three turned a 3-point deficit into a 10-point lead in one sequence. By the time it was over, she had 29 points and 10 assists, her 30th career double-double, and her 20th career game with 20 or more points and 10 or more assists. No other player in WNBA history has more than 10 such games. Clark has 20, and the player on the other bench had something to say about watching all of it up close.
And she's easy to play off of. She can shoot the three. She can get. She has long arms, so she can get to the paint.
Is the number 1 overall pick from this year's draft. She finished with 29 points on Friday and has averaged more than 20 points and 6 assists all season. She is one of the most credible evaluators of talent in this league because she plays against the best every night, and she said Clark is easy to play off of. Not just good, not just talented, easy. The kind of player who makes everyone around her better because her instincts are so advanced that her teammates always know where she is and what she's going to do next. That is the highest compliment one elite player can pay another, and it came from the player who just lost to her by 11. Ty Harris said after the game, she is in awe watching Clark play. That sometimes it feels normal, and it is not. Robert Griffin III's ballot had Clark at number 1 with Wilson second, a ranking that puts Clark ahead of a 4-time MVP who is averaging 26 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks, and who dropped 32 points in a loss to Minnesota on Saturday. The argument for putting Clark above Wilson is exactly what Friday's game showed. Wilson is producing dominant individual numbers. Clark is producing dominant team results with numbers that no other player in history has produced at the same rate. Indiana is first in the Eastern Conference, 8 wins in their last 10 games. And Clark is the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 1,600 points, 600 assists, and 400 rebounds simultaneously. Not a triple milestone she achieved against the New York Liberty 4 days before Friday's performance. Now here is the part of this story that the haters have no answer for. Because the praise is not coming from Clark fans or Clark-friendly media, it is coming from the people who have the most reason to stay quiet. Bueckers just lost to her. Robert Griffin III is a mainstream sports media figure who has no allegiance to Indiana. And the woman who spent most of this season being accused of undermining Clark walked to the post-game podium on Friday and said something that 2 years ago was unthinkable.
Yeah, I mean, there's sometimes that you just catch yourself smiling, right? Like there was a three right in front of me, and it's like you could tell the rhythm was there, the timing was there, the flow was there, and it just went straight through the bottom of the net. You know, she keeps people on their toes. She has a really good sense of understanding, particularly with Kelsey and AB, of where they're going to be, of when they're going to release, and how to get them the ball. You know, and that keeps teams honest. But she's like a maestro. I mean, the way that she really runs our offense. I think when we're at our best, she is instructing. She is running it. Much like a show. And
when we are at our best, she is instructing and running it much like a show. Stephanie White said that the same coach who spent this season being called out by the Indiana Lieutenant Governor, the same coach who was booed by her own fans 4 days ago before the Liberty game, the same coach whose locker room speeches early in the season somehow skipped Clark's name after historic performances. She caught herself smiling, watching Clark shoot a three in front of her on the sideline, called her a maestro, said when Indiana is at its best, Clark is running the show. That is not a reluctant acknowledgement. That is a coach who has watched something over months of games that she cannot deny anymore. The Wings coach, Jose Fernandez, said after the game, his team just did not match Indiana's physicality and want in the fourth quarter, that they got laid on, that it was inexcusable to give up 98 points after holding Indiana to 35 in the first half. Dallas was missing 3 players, including 2 starters. Bueckers had 29 points and still lost, and the moment Indiana decided the game was theirs, Clark locked down Bueckers to 2 field goal attempts in the fourth quarter while scoring the points that put the game away. That is a two-way performance from a player whose defense has been questioned all season, limiting the best rookie in the league to 2 shot attempts in the quarter that mattered most while directing a 15-2 offensive run on the other end. Robert Griffin III's full ballot read Clark first, Wilson second, Olivia Miles third, Kelsey Mitchell fourth, and Bueckers fifth, 2 Indiana Fever players in the top 5. Mitchell has been averaging more than 23 points while shooting better than 43% from 3. She is one of the most consistent scorers in the league, and Robert Griffin III put her 4th, behind Clark, on a ballot, where Clark sits above a 4-time MVP, having one of the best statistical seasons of her career. That is not a close call for him. He watched what Clark does to a game and put her at the top. The haters have been pointing at Clark's turnovers all season, pointing at Wilson's two-way dominance, pointing at the coaching controversy and the organizational drama as reasons to discount what Clark is doing. And on Friday, every voice that has the most credibility to weigh in, the rival who matched her for 3 quarters, the former NFL star with mainstream media reach, the coach who has been at the center of every controversy, landed in the same place. Clark is running this show. Clark is the maestro. Clark is first on the MVP ballot. And the team she is running just won 8 of their last 10 games and sits first in the Eastern Conference. Indiana visits Atlanta on Sunday. The regular season is entering its final stretch. The playoff positioning is tightening, and Caitlin Clark is doing things in this league that have never been done before, while every voice around the game catches up to what has been obvious to anyone watching closely all season. The haters are in turmoil, the rivals are praising her, the coach is catching herself smiling, and Robert Griffin III put her name at the top of his ballot above a 4-time MVP. The show is running, and Clark is the maestro. What do you think? Is Caitlin Clark the WNBA MVP this season? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications because the playoff race is heating up and this team is not done making history. We will see you in the next one.